Hi guys. So you guys know that I wasn't going to talk about Degrassi Next Class Season 2 because I didn't feel comfortable with it. By the way, if you see someone screaming, it's Daniel Seavey. If you know, why don't we? Anyway, so yeah, I didn't do Season 2 because I didn't feel comfortable with it. If you guys still want that, like I said, I can just go through the list of characters, but I won't be doing it as in-depth. So if you want in-depth, we're just going to skip Season 2. Okay, so Season 3, characters. Also, I'm reading this off of here because I was like, I started watching at school, so I started taking notes on my computer, so I just continue to do that. Tiny. I love Tiny still. I feel like he's making the good choices, and I feel like he's really happy with Shay, and she just really compliments him well. Grace. I like Grace. But I think she's a little too judgmental and rude sometimes. But overall, I still like her. Winston. I love Winston. He's so sweet, and he kind of barely shows up, except that he's a really good friend to Zoe, and I really like that. Jonah. I can't stand Jonah because he's so cocky. He's cocky as hell, and I hate people that are cocky like that. That's why I hated Declan when he first showed up. That's why I hated, Peter when he first showed up, because, they were cocky as hell. Miles. I like Miles, Season 3. He's, focusing on his musical. He's putting his all in there. The thing with Lola's kind of messy, but I feel like Miles is really making a change for the better. Maya. Maya's going through it this season. Maya is definitely dealing with some stuff, and I feel bad for her. And I know what having really bad depression is like, and I oh my gosh, she's going through it. Tristan. We don't see much of Tristan, but I'm really happy that we still have Tristan, and I'm really happy that Tristan is learning how to speak and walk. And when Tristan said okay in that one episode, it was just I was so happy. Goldie. I love Goldie. She's so sweet. And the fact that she's so supportive of Zoe and Rasha at the end of this season. And it's just she's such a good friend. Zig. Zig is a lot better than he used to be. I will say that. Zig is a lot better than he used to be. Zoe. Zoe's also a lot better than she used to be. And I think that her trying to get her mom to accept her wasn't necessarily a bad thing. She was just trying to get her mom to acknowledge her. Esme. I understand that Esme is going through something, and I do sympathize with her with that. I just feel like some of the actions that she does are kind of a little bit much. Saad. I love Saad. Honestly, this season we don't really know that much about him, but, he's just trying to make friends, and he makes friends with Maya. Maybe they're not doing the best thing, but he really does care about her, you can tell. When he catches her outside last episode, you can tell he actually cares about her. And when he goes to find her and ask why they stopped hanging out. Yael. I like Yael. She is such a good friend to Lola, and she's just such a good person at the core. And even though she had that rant, okay, she has differing viewpoints. Frankie. Frankie got a lot better Season 3. She was a really good friend to Lola and Shay. That's about as much as I know. I never liked her and Jonah, but that's more in the relationship. So, Hunter. I like Hunter. He's just doing the vlog channel. He's just doing his thing. He's not really And he's dating Yael, but he's not really, like, there. Like, Yael is more important than Hunter at this point. VJ. VJ is still VJ. Not much. Still kind of ticks me off sometimes. Boz. Oh, Boz gets on my nerves. Boz gets on my nerves. He just kind of like, I don't know. He walks around like he owns everything, and I hate that. Lola. I love Lola. She's become such a good person. And, like, the fact that she wasn't scared to share her abortion story. I love Lola. Shay. I like Shay. I feel like sometimes she can get a little rude. But I like Shay for the most part. Rasha. I love Rasha. I love Rasha and Zoe. I just love everything to do with Rasha because Rasha is amazing. Mr. Simpson, obviously, amazing principal. A+. Katie Matlin. I like how they brought Katie back because I feel like Maya really needed her and you could see how much she loves and cares for her sister. Mrs. Rivas, Consuela, if you will. I fucking hate her. I thought I heard my door. I fucking hate her so much. She pisses me off. Mrs. Matlin, amazing mother still. Miss Cardinal, amazing. Mrs. Milligan, I love Mrs. Milligan. She's so sweet to Miles, and it's just, I love it. Mr. Perino, A+, Mr. Armstrong, A+, Miss Grell, A fucking plus, because she is so good at helping Maya. Miss Badger, A+, Mr. Mitchell, A+. So, those are the list of the characters. I'm going to turn this way because it's a little easier to read my notes turned this way, so sorry about that, but, okay, so let's start reading. I love how they open season 3 with how everyone is trying to heal from the bus crash. Zoe seems to be a good president. Why did they have a spring election when Goldie should have taken over? Because, you know, when the president's not there, the vice takes over. Grace trying to get Zoe to tell her mom before she is ready is not the greatest, you know, come out. Other than that, Grace is a supportive friend. Zig yelling Tiny kiss her was funny. Poor Mr. Simpson has to tell Miles that they blocked him from posting. Zoe shutting down VJ saying she was gay was amazing. VJ really annoys me with the you comment and looks at her like she cannot be gay. That infuriates me. So, like, when he looks at her, he's like, you? Like, why? That's not neat. She is gay. Yeah, like, ugh. Grace looking shocked at Zoe coming out was funny. Lola posting the picture of her and Tiny was so wrong. Esme, so you don't off yourself? Okay, not the best thing to say. And I love Mr. Mitchell coming in and saying, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. Whoever turned on the wipers on the car... Oh, sorry. Goldie trying to let Zoe know she's okay with her being gay is so cute. Whoever turned on the wipers on the car when they crashed was comedic timing. Mrs. Rivas, the car was expensive. Look at your daughter. At least Phil asked if Zoe was okay. Poor Frankie is stuck in the middle of Lola and Shay's fight. It's not fair to her. I love the look Frankie gives Lola when she tweets something rude, and the same look she gives Shay, then the look of complete annoyance when they keep doing it. Mr. Perino is smart enough to know if you're paying attention or not. I know what that means. I'm not that old. That's a funny line. Grace is a good friend to talk to Zoe about her problems with her mom. Grace was good to ask Zoe if she was going to harm herself again, in a way of concern. She was like, you're not really thinking of hurting yourself again, are you? And I really like that she asked that. Zoe was good to let the QSA/prayer room be in the same place. I couldn't speak for a second. Yael put Boz to shame when doing the trial in class. Lola should have talked to Shay about her feelings instead of exploding in class. Language, office, Miss Pacini, for saying go to hell? Seriously? The teachers at my school would have much preferred we say that than what we did say. Lola was good to get Miles out of trouble when he was ripping posters. It was good for Miles to have someone to talk to, and I'm glad Miles could be that person for Lola too. It's good they can talk to each other. Zig's story was super cute for his summer. Miles' story with the visual aid was heartbreaking. Miles, for what he said to Esme, was too much. Just because everyone leaves you doesn't mean he's leaving me. That was a bit much. Grace looking excited for Zoe's speech was cute. Zoe coming out in her speech was amazing. Now VJ supports Zoe. That is a complete 180 from the beginning of the episode. Like, after her speech, you can see him smiling and clapping. It's, Rasha telling Zoe she loved what she did was sweet. Then Grace teasing Zoe about Rasha was cute. Next episode. Staring at the alarm clock like Maya did is a mood. Mrs. Matlin should ask Maya about how she's feeling emotionally. Zig should not let his friends talk bad about his girlfriend if he loves her. Zig is stupid to not think to use protection. It's always just to be safe. Tiny, maybe if you ask nicely, but not Esme nicely. That was funny. The vlog squad should not make Yael do something that does not make her comfortable. They should just hire someone who knows how to do these things. Grace and Jonah putting pressure on Maya rubs me the wrong way, especially when she gets the homework and they still mention it. Esme is nice to offer to help Zig study. I agree with Yael that putting on a lot of makeup to get a natural look defeats the purpose. Maya throwing her phone would make me have a conversation with her, or at least tell Miss Grell that she seemed frustrated. Frankie and Shay checking on her was good, though. Excuse me. Hunter at least likes Yael no matter how she looks. Yael should not have posted a rant because I understand what she was trying to do, but it would not come off that way. Zig should not have joked with his friends about Esme or let them make jokes in the first place if he really liked her. Sometimes you do things other girls wouldn't do. The reactions of Jonah, Grace, and Tiny are amazing. Poor Chewie gets pulled into the argument by Esme, and of course poor Mr. Perino walks in on all the weird things like always. I paused to eat at some point. Some guy on the side is staring at Esme's butt, and that's disgusting when she's pulling Chewie away. Miss Grell as a counselor is amazing, and I love how we finally see her doing her work. Maya at least opening up to Miss Grell is good. I feel Maya talking in the guidance office. I get that. Like, I get how she felt. Like, I'm being pulled underwater. I feel that. Baz having a meltdown over Yael's rant is funny. At least Lola and Frankie let Yael know how it felt from their point of view. Do I make crappy decisions? Zig, that is a loaded question. Jonah and Grace getting on Maya's case is not being good friends. Then Jonah tried to make it better by saying he gets her stress. Esme and Zig sharing trauma is good. More on that in relationships. Good to be open in relationships so the person you care about the most can help you. Baz could not force Yael to do a vlog that is not her because it turns people off to content when the person that does it is not genuine. Hiring Lola was the best idea from the start. Next episode. Shay is still amazing at running even if she was behind Esme. Tiny did not see it as a big deal that she bled on him. Also, Esme making period jokes is stupid. Like, she's never had an embarrassing moment with that. We all have. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Rasha putting the whole history class in their place was amazing. Rasha wanting to meet people does not mean she wants to stop hanging out with you, Goldie. Tiny buying Shay period things and trying to be helpful was cute. I will be touched by it. Esme is too much this episode. I love how uncomfortable Zoe looks when pitching a play about the bus crash to student council. Goldie asking Zoe and Winston to come over is sweet. If I can get out of this box, that's a super cute line from Winston. Lola was good to cover for Miles. Shay talking to Frankie was funny. Frankie telling Shay to still practice and don't care what Esme said is good. All of them playing games at Goldie's house looked fun. I feel bad for Goldie, but at the same time, Rasha can have the same religion and still believe different things about it. That's like me with my religion. I'm a Christian, but I don't believe all the stuff most Christians do. Esme saying condolences for Tristan was a bit too much. And Miles clapping back was too much too. Not every experience between a guy and a girl ends in home base. At least Goldie tried to make it up to Rasha with a bagel. I love how Baz mentions mom and dad and all we see is dad. I am all for Shay getting Esme back. You're the one embarrassed about having a vagina. Esme, don't make fun of someone on their period and they wouldn't do this to you. If you don't make fun of somebody, they won't do that to you. Goldie should do what she wants and not care what other people think. Life is too short to care about what other people think. Miles trying to speak Spanish is funny. Zoe had a point about Miles hanging out with Lola a lot, but Miles had a point that Zoe was never there. Miles also had a point that Zoe was never there, as in never visiting Tristan. Mr. Perino, assuming that Goldie was not from here, was uncomfortable. Goldie giving the class a speech about unfair assumptions about her religion was good. At least Shay apologized to Esme. At least Shay has a plan to embrace having a period. It was good for Goldie to talk to Rasha about her feelings. I promise you don't have to touch Winston. Funny line. Miles' speech to Tristan is so heartbreaking. At least Zoe is there to hear it and comes in when he gets to a breaking point. She's there to console him. Tiny asking if they're all synced up was cute because he's trying to understand. I love the statement they did by painting their legs with red paint. Zoe vouching for Miles to help with the play is a good idea. I love Miles' story idea personally as well. Next episode. I wish they had Maya record her songs like they did with Jenna. Mrs. Matlin is still one of the most amazing moms. Jonah teaching Frankie to drive is nice. More in relationships, but why did Jonah get so pissy when Frankie and him were joking around? Raj's audition for Hero was pretty good. Frankie going to her friends for advice was not helpful. Lola talking about the squad is funny. That doesn't count. One's gay, one's your brother, and one's Boz. Why does Boz not count? Because I'm way out of his league. Poor Saab when he tells his story. I feel so bad for what he went through. I hate seeing how upset Rasha is when she realizes she may not get the part. Maya telling Saad about Cam and Adam I think was good for her. I think it was good for her to talk about it. Poor Maya. She's so hard on herself and she does not deserve to be that hard on herself. Hunter giving Frankie the password is not the best idea he ever had, like giving her Jonah's password. I love how Maya's voice with the song Yes sounds. The lady from SoCal Art gave Maya good advice at least. Frankie reading the messages right before the driving test was a bad idea. Rasha confronting Miles about Hero I think was a good idea. Lola is the best person for Frankie to talk about reading the messages to. Lola is good for saying if you have to ask whether to have sex or not, then the answer is probably no. That's a good thing to recognize. Frankie trying to be in a band. She does not know is not the way to go. Oh, Frankie trying to go to the show of a band that she's not into is not the way to go. I typed it wrong. That's why I was confused. At least Zoe gives Rasha a pep talk to try out for the part she wants to be. Rasha explains that she can relate to the part, and that is good so Miles can get an insight into Rasha. Maya, the type of pictures you were taking with Saad are not a good idea, sweetie. With a heart. At least Miles still gives Rasha a part, and at least Rasha is still happy about it. Lola shit-talking Jonah is really funny. Jonah talking to Frankie about his obligations was a good move. Frankie asking Lola for the condom was a bad idea, though. Grace could still ask Maya to do some production stuff, not cut her out of the play stuff completely. Next episode. Frankie, Lola, and Shay for girls' night looks fun. Frankie inviting Jonah was a horrible idea, and inviting Tiny as well was horrible because it was a girls' night. Miles is funny when it comes to his banter with Lola. Miles offering Lola to help with the play if girls' night falls through is nice. Now that you have a girlfriend, you have no time for the important stuff. Boz, seriously? I get they think about that a lot at that age, but still. Shay was right to give her a speech about Frankie not having sex is the best idea. To give Frankie a speech about not having sex is the best idea. Shay was good for that. Boz's brilliant idea was to say it makes them look worse. Poor Lola when she finds out everyone else got invited. I felt bad for her. Why are Esme and Zig there? I know they were tiny, but they were still not invited, including Grace, too. They're all not invited. I love how, during the corn part, VJ looks like he's disassociating, and it was funny. Yeah, I'm supposed to say corn, not... I think I said the P word. I'm just going to cut out that word in editing. It's corn. They were watching corn. That's what we're going to say. Yael was okay with boys being boys, it looks like, because when they were honest about what they were going to do, Yael did not care. Grace had a good idea to stop the game when Lola and Shay started getting on each other. Boz was good to give Hunter a reality check about how he should feel lucky for what he has. Shay calling Esme easy was too harsh. Also, Esme should not have mentioned Shay meeting Tiny's needs, because every couple is different. Jonah telling Frankie that they should not have sex was not about Grace, Frankie. More on this in relationships. It was funny when Miles ran in when the smoke alarm went off. It was good for Lola to get closure from Tiny. Shay should not believe whatever Tiny said about what happened Shay should believe whatever Tiny said about what happened in the closet. Shay should not tell Tiny who he is. I agree with Tiny on that point. Do we have to talk about this? Miles, not talking about this will not help Frankie. At least Miles teaches Frankie about what guys think about sex. Not all guys think girls will get super attached to them, though. I learned that by some guys I hung out with in high school. Yael saying she should be Hunter's friend and girlfriend is something I agree with. Boz chanting USA is very cringy in my opinion. Shay and Frankie got karma for blowing off girls' night with Lola. Lola helping Miles with the play was a good idea because Lola gave him a good idea. Lola had a completely valid fear of them getting too close because sex did happen. At least Lola tries to talk to Miles about his feelings of guilt instead of having him bottling all those feelings up. Miles is crapped for cheating on Tristan, more in relationships. Only you would find that exciting, Shay. Frankie, that was fine to say after Shay got excited that none of them are having sex. Next episode. Grace and Jonah talking to Miles about Lola and Tristan is funny. Zoe and Rasha's flirting is cute, more in relationships. Zoe and Winston fighting over Rasha is funny. You look like a scared deer, Frankie. I always find that line hilarious. Poor Shay would feel bad for not inviting Frankie when her and Tiny are going to play Boggle. At least Miles is still talking to Lola so they can stay friends. Then he ruins it by kissing her. Goldie is so sweet to help Zoe understand the Muslim student's beliefs. Frankie should learn to chill because Jonah can hang out with whoever he wants to. Tristan's mom is also one of the best moms on the show. Tiny was right to whisper that Frankie has no chill. Frankie should not jump to conclusions without knowing all the details. Grace is a good friend to Zoe to talk to her about her crush on Rasha. You could tell Miles is not feeling the play rehearsal today. Well, he is the playwright, so it's a funny Jonah line. It's like, you can't just rewrite the play whenever it suits you. And it's like, well, he is the playwright, so. Frankie buying Jonah a guitar was a nice gesture. Zoe is so bad at trying to ask people out for other people. Miles reading all Tristan's cards to him was a good idea. At least Mrs. Milligan is trying to help Miles understand Tristan's condition. Lola and Shay are good to let Frankie know that sometimes she could be a bit intense. Shay and Lola are good friends for saying they want Frankie to be happy. At least Maya talks to Miles about his feelings, but of course Maya is going through her own things as well. Do what you can to find some okayness in your life. Maya, that is kind of good advice. Rasha and Zoe saying they like each other is very cute to me. Let's make it a double shot of espresso. That's a cute line from Rasha. Then the robot works when they get together, which is super cute. Miles apologizing to Lola was really good of him to do. Frankie realizing her and Jonah did not say rules for the break can only complicate things. Next episode. Poor Grace has to make a big decision. At least the doctor is telling Grace the truth. Hunter feels so uncomfortable and Lola does not notice. Poor her. What is that? Why is that? That's one of the funniest lines from Lola. Rasha screaming because she's excited for her and Zoe's date was cute. At least Winston lets Rasha know that Zoe will not be upset that Rasha could not tell Goldie it was a date. Out of all people, how can Boz be the one to help Hunter with his surprise? Jonah trying to help Grace realize that she should live is a good mood. Trying to vote out Lola is not the way to go. I feel bad for Lola because she did not do anything. Zoe is so supportive of Rasha not being able to come out. At least Jonah tries to get Grace to choose life. Goldie is so sweet to believe Zoe is sick even though her fake coughs are so bad. Yael and Lola talking could be about anything, Hunter. At least Jonah really tries to prove to Grace that her life is worth living. Still have to take the shot though, right? Is good advice from Jonah. Hunter should have told Yael he got a for Lola. More on that in relationships. Zoe's good to try to meet up with Rasha somewhere else. The way Maya is talking should clue people in that something is very wrong. I will talk about Zoe and Rasha's speech in the relationships video. Mrs. Rivas staring at Rasha the way she did was rude. Hunter and Yael's talk will be in relationships. At least Grace gives Miles a good lighting idea. When Grace shows those photos... When Grace got the photos from Maya, she should have told Miss Grell. Like, she should have showed them to Miss Grell and told her and all that, even though Miss Grell caught Maya. Next episode. At least Frankie and Shay are there to help Lola through this maybe pregnancy. I hope they realize how bad friends they are for talking loud enough for Lola to hear. The fact that Lola felt she could not be honest is a problem. I'm glad that Maya's mom was invited to a meeting about her behavior lately. Miles should have heard Lola out, at least what she had to say. Maybe you could take a bus. That was so heartless, Miles. Poor Lola, everyone is jumping all over her. At least Yael wants to go to the abortion with Lola. Grace calling Maya a terrible friend was kind of low considering she has not been great to Maya either. Mrs. Milligan brings up good points for why Miles should fight to stage his play. Yael is such a supportive friend to Lola. But I didn't tell you to write it for HBO. That's a funny Zoe line. At least Zig can tell something is wrong with Maya and then tries to talk to her. At least Zig tried to cheer Maya up. Esme, Maya was not apologizing to you. I know it was wrong of Maya to do, though, kissing Zig. I'm just mad when, like, she's not talking to people and it's like, do I look like the forgiving type? I'm like, bitch, sorry, Esme really, like, just gets on my nerves, but yes, it was wrong of Maya to kiss Zig. Obviously, she's not with him anymore. She had her chance, you know? Lola was good to ask all the questions before doing the procedure, the abortion. Yael is a good friend that no matter Lola's choice, she will be there for her. The doctor doing Lola's procedure is so sweet to her. He lets her know what he's doing every step of the way, and that is good. Lin-Manuel Miranda better watch out. Seriously? No, he's brilliant. I love that back and forth. That's like funny back and forth. I'm glad Yael and Lola become very close friends. Poor Lola gets embarrassed by her search history, having abortion all over it. At least Frankie and Shay tried to talk to Lola about what was going on. Esme hitting Maya's shoulder going into the class was a bit much, but I also get it because she did kiss Esme's boyfriend. At least Saad asked if Maya was okay. I love that Yael lets Lola come to her if she needs to talk about the abortion. Yael was good to let Lola know she's not the first person to get an abortion. Lola making a video on her abortion was absolutely amazing. I know I'm saying that word a lot. YouTube's gonna hate me. Mrs. Matlin being concerned about Maya is good. Anyone could tell the old Maya was not there anymore, and I can't believe that no one noticed it. Frankie and Shay were good to support Lola after she told her story. Next episode. Goldie is so sweet to say the dress is nice even though she does not like it. Zoe should not lie and say that Rasha can come before she asks. Frankie was so cringy when Jonah said hi to Frankie in the hallway. Maya asking rapid-fire questions will not help the doctor find out what is going on with her. Mrs. Rivas, it strikes me as interesting you would let teenagers DJ your wedding. Mrs. Rivas is not listening to her daughter. Why does Mrs. Rivas have to pick up Phil's suit? Can't he do that himself? I never understood why she had to pick it up. Like, he can do it himself. Frankie pretending to be Hunter to Yael. Pretending to be Hunter to Yael was not smart. There. Frankie pretending to be Hunter to Yael was not smart. There we go. That must have been hard. No, not hard. Frankie being Hunter. That was funny. Mrs. Matlin and Maya were not communicating well when Mrs. Matlin tried to use a book. I think Mrs. Matlin should just have tried to talk to Maya without a book, but Maya should have tried to open up to her mom. I know it's hard. I have depression and I'm struggling right now, but I know people are there to help me when they talk to me. I like how they brought Katie back to be there for Maya, and I love how she calls her Munchkin. That's cute. Hey, Munchkin. I love that. It's cute. Mrs. Rivas is awful for thinking that pretending to support her daughter will be fine. Hunter pretending to be Frankie online was karma for what she did. The caption said, "It does not proud," when the wedding quote is, "It is not proud." You know, love is patient, love is kind, does not boast, it does not envy. It's not, "it does not proud," it's, "it is not proud." It was just the captions were wrong. I just found that funny. Maya telling Esme to take care of Zig makes me emotional. Oh, good. So Hunter thinks I'm pretty. I always thought we had a special connection. Funny Jonah line. I love how Maya bought matching PJs for a movie night and tried to fix the mirror. Mrs. Rivas has no right to tell Zoe how to live her life. Phil telling Zoe to leave is awful because he's not her father. Poor Zoe. First her mom, then Rasha. Frankie looking at Jonah's messages was a bad idea, especially when she assumed he was probably going to talk to her. So the thing is, first her mom, then Rasha. I want to go back to that for a second. Zoe shouldn't have done what she did to Rasha, but yeah, and then Frankie looking at Jonah's messages was a bad idea. Grace was nice to find Zoe and let her live with her. Poor Zoe getting hurt by everyone. The Wizard of Oz was a big movie of my childhood, so it was super nice to see them watching that. Last episode. I always wondered why Maya's dad did not make a reappearance during her storyline. I like the song Last Exit. The play looks like it has come together well. At least Rasha tells Goldie how she feels about everything. At least Zig did talk to Maya when he saw her. Jonah giving Maya the extra ticket could have saved her life if Esme was not in her seat. Goldie helping Zoe and Rasha fix things was a good idea. Miles talking to Lola was a good idea to patch up their relationship. Yeah, you were my hope, Miles. I still think that was a sweet line. Esme, you cannot just choose the seats you want. Maya puts the headphones on the bus. Remind us of anyone? So when Maya puts the headphones on in the bus, does that remind us of anyone? Like someone who sat at the front of the hockey bus, put his headphone. It's just, I make that connection every time. I like to see people enjoying the play Miles worked so hard on. Poor Sod helped Maya open a door and it could have been bad. The play was fantastic. I would have loved it. We get to see more of this play than Degrassi's others. Like, I wanted to see all of Romeo and Jules. I was just putting that out there. Zoe asking Rasha to forgive her is sweet. Forgive her is sweet. Okay. Wrote a word wrong. Rasha realizing Goldie helped Zoe with the roses plan was sweet. Miles was good to have a talk with Tristan. Tristan actually saying the word okay was very powerful in this scene. I feel bad that Zig and Esme were the one to find her. I feel bad because of Esme's trauma, and I feel bad for Zig because of what happened with Cam. I feel like I have to explain that. Esme's trauma with her mom. Obviously, I feel bad for her, but I'm glad she knew what to do. Zig, what happened with Cam. He was not close with Cam. He did not like Cam, but he did deal with a lot after Cam's unaliving. And so finding Maya, who he actually is friends with, I think just brought all of that Cam stuff back. I love how Zoe, Grace, Esme, Zig, Tristan, and Miles are there. We're missing Jonah, though, apparently. I'm glad Katie was there to tell everyone that she will make it. I'm glad the people that become a core of 4 were there talking to Katie. Grace, Zoe, Tristan, and Miles. And then in the happy ending to a season, we didn't lose anybody, whatever, and I think that was good. Because Degrassi can sometimes heartbreak. So again, let me know if you agree with me, let me know if you don't agree with me, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Yeah, that's the only announcements, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!